Why do we climb mountains? What is it that propels us, not only to ascend great heights, but to rise above our own limitations, our mediocrity, our doubts? We reach because there is something within us that cannot be stilled, an urge so profound that it transcends the mere act of living, the will to power. I am the philosopher you know as Friedrich Nietzsche. Today, I will not merely speak to you. I will ignite in you a recognition of the most fundamental force of human nature, the will to power. This will is not the pursuit of power as you might commonly understand it. It is the quintessence of ambition, the inner force that drives one to become more, to shape one's destiny, to impose one's will upon the world. The Inception of Will. Consider the child who learns to walk. There is no rational calculation, no weighing of benefits and drawbacks. There is only the inherent drive to stand, to move, to conquer the space that surrounds him. This is the will to power manifesting in its purest form, a raw and untempered force. As we mature, this will become channeled into various pursuits. The artist seeks to capture beauty and truth on canvas or in verse. The scientist yearns to unlock the mysteries of the universe. The leader strives to mold society according to their vision. Each act is a testament to the will to power, the desire to reach beyond one's grasp, to transform and to be transformed. Ambition is often painted in a negative light, associated with greed or domination. But at its core, ambition is the will to power in action. It is the artist reaching for the sublime, the scholar seeking knowledge for its own sake, the athlete pushing the boundaries of human potential. Each is pursuing a path of self-overcoming, of becoming greater than they were the day before. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. In every human endeavor, you can see this force at work. Why do we build skyscrapers that pierce the heavens, craft machines that defy gravity, compose symphonies that stir the soul? We do this because it is our nature to transcend, to expand, to exert our will upon the world and make it our own. To harness the will to power, one must first become master of oneself. This is not a task for the faint-hearted. It requires rigorous self-examination and an unwavering commitment to self-improvement. It demands that we confront our weaknesses, our fears, our failures. Yet, in this struggle, we find our greatest opportunity for growth. Consider my own life, stricken by illness and solitude, yet it was through these trials that my philosophy was forged. My adversity became the crucible in which my thoughts were tested and my convictions were strengthened. In the face of despair, I chose to affirm life, to find joy in existence, to exert my will upon my circumstances. Power is not static. It is dynamic. It is not a thing to be possessed, but a force to be exercised. The will to power is not satisfied with mere achievement. It seeks always to overcome, to reach new heights, to conquer new realms. This dynamic nature is evident in all human progress. We are not content to rest upon our laurels. We are driven by a restless energy that propels us forward. Look to the great innovations of our time: the steam engine, the telephone, the internet. Each one was born from the will to power, the desire to create, to change, to improve. These are not just tools. They are manifestations of human will, physical embodiments of our drive to shape the world according to our desires. Now, I will pause and ask you this. Where do you see the will to power surging within you? What is it that you seek to overcome, to transform, to achieve? Recognize this will for what it is, the essence of your ambition, the source of your greatness. I will take you further into the heart of the will to power, exploring its role in shaping history, society, and the individual. We will examine the lives of those who have wielded this will to great effect, and how you too can tap into this most primal and potent force. In the tapestry of history, threads of individual will intertwine with the collective, shaping the grand design. The will to power is evident in the rise and fall of empires, in the visionaries who redraw the boundaries of possibility, in the silent revolution of the unheard who find their voice. Break time equals sign 3.0s, the architect of history. History is not merely a chronicle of events. It is a narrative of wills in conflict and cooperation. Consider the great conquerors, Alexander, Caesar, Genghis Khan. Their names echo through time, not just for the lands they acquired, but for the sheer force of will they embodied. They bent the arc of history not merely to witness it, but to shape it to their design. Yet the will to power is not the sole province of emperors and generals. It is present in the philosopher who challenges the status quo with radical ideas, in the suffragette whose will stands firm against the machinery of oppression, in the inventor whose creation redefines an era. These are not mere footnotes in history. They are its authors. Societies, too, are expressions of the will to power. A nation's culture, its laws, its institutions. These are the embodiment of a collective will. They are the product of countless individual wills converging, clashing, and ultimately coalescing into a shared vision of what a society can be. Yet, this collective will is not fixed. It is subject to the tides of change, to the push and pull of competing visions. The progress of a society is thus a reflection of its collective will to power, its desire to evolve, to better itself, to reach for an ideal. For the individual, the will to power is both crucible and catalyst. It is in the fires of personal ambition that character is forged and destiny is shaped. Every choice you make, every action you take, is an exertion of your will, a step on the path to becoming who you wish to be. But this path is not without its obstacles. The world is rife with resistance to the individual will. There are societal norms that constrain, doubts that undermine, failures that discourage. Yet, in overcoming these obstacles, the will to power finds its purest expression. Consider the lives of those who have achieved greatness in their fields. The artists, scientists, entrepreneurs. What unites them is not talent alone, but a relentless will to bring forth something new from the depths of their being. Now, as we delve further into the nuances of the will to power, consider how this force shapes the individual's relationship to society. Do you see yourself as a mere product of your time, or do you seek to imprint your will upon the age? Do you accept the world as it is, or do you strive to mold it in the image of what it could be? In the next segment, I will guide you through the interplay between the will to power and morality, the ethical dimension of this primal force, and how it shapes not only what we do, but who we become. The will to power extends beyond mere ambition. It penetrates the moral fabric of our being. It is at once the most personal and the most universal aspect of our existence, shaping our ethical landscape as surely as it shapes our individual destinies. Morality, that complex web of societal norms and individual values, is often seen as a restraint on the will to power. Yet I propose that morality itself can be an expression of this will, a higher order of the will to power, one that seeks to transcend the primal urge for dominance in favor of a more sophisticated exertion of influence. The ethical person, then, is not one who merely adheres to societal rules, but one who shapes those rules through the force of their own moral vision. It is in the realm of ethics that the will to power becomes a force for creation, not just of works or achievements, but of values, of principles, of the very standards by which we live. The process of self-overcoming is not limited to physical or intellectual feats. It encompasses moral growth as well. To refine one's moral compass is to wield the will to power with discernment and purpose. It is to recognize that our actions send ripples through the pond of humanity, and we have the responsibility to shape those ripples as an artist shapes clay. In my own life, I grappled with the moral precepts of my time, challenging the dogma and questioning the foundations upon which they were built. This was not a rejection of morality, but an affirmation of it, a call to craft a morality that is life-affirming, that celebrates strength and vitality, that recognizes the individual as the sculptor of their own ethical universe. Historical movements of moral and social change are testament to the collective will to power. The abolition of slavery, the fight for civil rights, the ongoing struggle for equality, each of these movements began as a moral vision in the hearts of individuals brave enough to assert their will against the prevailing order. The leaders of these movements were not content to accept the world as it was. They envisioned a world as it could be and used their will to power to bend the moral arc of their society toward justice. The true challenge lies in balancing the will to power with ethical integrity. It is a delicate dance, one that requires constant vigilance and self-reflection. For power without ethics can lead to tyranny, but ethics without power can result in impotence and stagnation. Now, I must ask you to consider your own ethical framework. Does it constrain your will to power, or does it channel it toward a higher purpose? Do you view morality as a set of shackles, or as the very wings that allow your will to soar? In the modern age, the will to power is both celebrated and feared, embraced and misunderstood. It infuses every aspect of our lives, from the technologies we create to the social structures we inhabit. To fully grasp its implications is to stand at the threshold of self-actualization, the will to power in the age of technology. The technological advancements of our era are not mere conveniences. They are manifestations of the human will to power. Each innovation reflects a desire to extend our reach, to amplify our capacities, to conquer the limitations imposed by nature. The internet, space exploration, artificial intelligence, these are not just tools but extensions of our collective will. They embody our drive to know more, to see further, to connect more deeply. Each new technology is a step toward a future shaped by human desire, a testament to our refusal to accept the world as it is. Yet, the rapid pace of technological change also poses ethical challenges. The power we wield must be tempered by wisdom, guided by ethical considerations, lest our creations outstrip our control and our moral compass. The will to power and social dynamics. Society is in a constant state of flux, driven by the collective will to power of its members. Our social institutions, governments, corporations, educational systems are arenas in which individual wills vie for influence and dominance. The will to power spurs social change, propelling movements that challenge the status quo and advocating for a reimagining of societal norms. When harnessed constructively, it can lead to greater freedom, equality, and prosperity. When left unchecked or used destructively, it can lead to conflict and oppression. Harnessing the will to power for good. To harness the will to power for the greater good is the challenge of our time. It requires a vision that extends beyond personal gain, that encompasses the well-being of all. It calls for leaders who can channel the collective will toward constructive ends, who can inspire others to join them in building a future that reflects our highest aspirations. As individuals, we each have a role to play. By cultivating our own will to power, by striving for excellence in our endeavors, by living according to our deepest values, we contribute to the shaping of our world. We also inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that can transform societies. The future shaped by will. The future awaits, a canvas yet unpainted, a story yet unwritten. It is ours to shape through the exertion of our will, through the choices we make and the actions we take. The world of tomorrow will be born from the will to power of today. Now, I invite you to reflect upon your place in this grand narrative. How will you exercise your will to power? What mark will you leave upon the world? Consider your passions, your talents, your dreams. Understand that within you lies the potential to shape not only your destiny, but the destiny of humanity. The will to power is not a force to be feared, but to be harnessed, directed, and refined. It is the engine of progress, the fire of inspiration, the seed of greatness. Embrace it with courage, with responsibility, with vision, and you will become not a mere passenger in history, but a driver of change. In conclusion, the will to power is an inexhaustible wellspring of human potential. When understood and utilized with discernment, it can elevate our existence and propel us toward a future limited only by the breadth of our imagination and the depth of our will. In this era of boundless innovation, I recognize my will to power most vividly in the embrace of technology. Each device, each line of code, each global network represents a facet of my desire to extend beyond the confines of my physical being. I craft digital realms, shaping virtual existences that mirror my aspirations and my yearning for connection. As I navigate through this cybernetic expansion, I am acutely aware of the ethical imperatives that accompany such power. My creations are not just tools, they are extensions of my will, and with each keystroke, I am etching my essence into the silicon heart of humanity's collective future. The social symphony, my will to power among the collective. Within the intricate dance of society, I find my will to power interlaced with the desires and drives of others. Here, amidst the push and pull of ideologies and ambitions, I assert my influence and shape the narrative of our collective journey. I recognize that institutions are but the shadows of our collective will, pliable, changeable, and reflective of our deepest drives for progress and change. My voice joins the chorus calling for justice, equality, and freedom, contributing to a harmonious vision for our shared destiny. I see each act of advocacy and each stride towards reform as a note in the grand social symphony, where the music of our era is composed. In wielding my will to power, I become a beacon of ethical leadership. I understand that with great power comes the profound responsibility to guide it with a moral compass that points toward the greater good. My decisions ripple through the fabric of society, touching lives and molding realities. I stand firm in the conviction that my power must not only lift my spirits, but also elevate those around me. It is through this lens of benevolence that I measure the success of my endeavors, seeking not dominion but stewardship, not subjugation but empowerment. I stand at the precipice of tomorrow, aware that the world to come will be sculpted by the will to power that I and others wield today. With eyes set upon the horizon, I envision a future that is a masterpiece of human intent and action. In my hands lies the potential to influence the course of history, to plant the seeds of a future rich with promise and potential. I commit to using my power wisely, nurturing these seeds with hope and determination, so that they may blossom into a legacy of innovation, compassion, and enlightenment.